welcome to East Coast DNA podcast. I'm Andrew, and this is my brother.
Darcy, hello.
We should really put Darcy first because it's DNA, but we're doing A-N-D instead.
The next episode, I'll do it and get you to do the "This is my brother." You can say Andrew.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah,
it'll clear up all the confusion that our right-in
Darcy,
listeners
brother,
have.
Andrew. Yeah. So here we are. We have our song today and our guest today are both people that reached out to us, which is, it seems like almost people like know who we are now or something like that. So, and
they're both in the CBC Spotlight Search contest right now.
Yes. This is our 10th episode today. So you took part in something, I don't know if you found out about that's because of our involvement and more being on Instagram, paying attention to things, but
pretty much. I mean, 6 1 half dozen the other. It was a little bit of both. It was me looking at stuff, but through the podcast. Had a chance to go to a video shoot there yesterday, but I'm actually not going to get too far into any detail on it because the video is only supposed to be out in like 2 weeks' time.
Okay.
So, we'll talk about it on the next episode a little bit further because we can probably actually feature the video. So the short version, I'm in a music video. I have a small little cameo, but it was a great day for it. Nice weather.
Yeah, it was nice
up in the city. So I got to hang out in Africville Park, which I am ashamed to say I did not know much about Africville growing up. And going to the park, I was amazed that there was this beautiful park right there in an area that I've driven by thousands of times in my lifetime. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea that this beautiful park was just sitting right there.
Yeah, it's something that we were they skimmed over in school.
Yeah.
Surprise, Nova Scotia education system didn't really put a whole lot of emphasis on that. And
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So
anyone now we can go back as grown-ass men and learn all the history ourselves. And
I'm putting a little bit of effort into learning some stuff, and it was fun to see some behind-the-scenes stuff with music videos, especially where we've been so focused on the local music scene the last year or so, talking about it. It was nice to not just know in theory how it works, but to actually see some of it. Mm-hmm. So
behind-the-scenes kind of look.
Yeah, it's something I would definitely do again. Mm-hmm. And maybe another experience is following some people into the studio someday and seeing a little bit of the goings on.
Yeah. There's a couple studios around Glasgow. You know a few people that can get you in there to see.
I do. I know a few people that have some home studios. I know a few people that work at some of the studios. So that's something we may have to look at in the future.
Maybe on Take Your Son to Work Day, you can go in and see what's going on. And along the same vein as Africville, this isn't going to be until after our next episode, but I thought I'll bring it up now in case anyone wanted to hold on to their Bandcamp purchases. On Friday, June 17th, this year, they're going to have a Juneteenth thing where from midnight to midnight Pacific time, they're going to donate 100% of their share of the sales to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. It's a racial justice organization with a history of making change to litigation, advocacy, public education. And they'll be doing that on June 17th in place of Bandcamp Friday for
that's a cool alternative. I wasn't really aware that was happening.
Yeah. And then I think in September, they're bringing back Bandcamp Friday. So that was something when Epic Games, I don't know if it's called Epic Games, it's the mother company, but when Epic bought out Bandcamp, we weren't sure if that Bandcamp Friday was going to go away. But it seems like enough people said, hey, keep it going, that's going to, it continued last month. It seems to be, it's going to start back up in September. And then for June, on the 17th, not the first Friday, but the 17th, they're going to do a donation with all their proceeds. So,
well, that's cool. Yeah, it seems to be the fact that the artist getting the money was a huge thing for a lot of people. But putting it towards a charity is a cool idea, and it'd be interesting to see between now and September if they try to do any other ones.
Yeah. And with Bandcamp, the artist gets a lot. They get like 82% of the money anyway.
Oh, yeah. A few people have said like...
Makes
a few people said like, don't wait until Bandcamp Friday. If you want my album, buy it today. I still get most of the money.
Yeah. But for something like this, maybe wait till the 17th.
Yeah,
and then,
especially where it's only a couple weeks away.
Yeah. Or I'm sure you could also donate to the cause yourself instead of 18 cents on the dollar.
Right. And a couple short things that are coming up, actually, talking about things upcoming in the next couple of weeks. The Avril Lavigne concert I mentioned before that I'd be going with my daughter. So that's the day after this airs.
That was canceled and then rebooked?
Yeah, and instead of Grandson opening this time with the rebook, she's bringing The Beaches, which I'm a little disappointed not to see Grandson, but I'm very excited to see The Beaches. I know they've been in the area, but I missed them twice. They had one postponed and canceled, and now this is like the 5th potential opportunity to see them, and I have a ticket, and it's only 2 days away, so it sounds like it's happening this time.
But I did see posters up till this morning, advertisements for the Halifax show, saying there's still a few tickets left, and Grandson's still being advertised. So I don't know why she has to go and make things so complicated.
That was a good setup. I didn't even see it coming.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't normally, I'm usually waiting to make the pun when you're saying something, but I just went right for the ride there.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good one. And Matt Steele is playing one of the Green Room series concerts down at Glasgow Square, which is walking distance from my apartment, so I'll probably go down to that.
And that's a tiny audience, isn't it?
Yeah, they only have 35 tickets, so if anyone happens to be listening to this, it'll be a week from tomorrow is the day of this being released. So cheap tickets, only 35 available. So, I mean, if anyone wants a good night out, it's a quiet night out. The view there is beautiful. I think I posted some video on our Instagram account when the first night that they had for the Green Room series with Steve Auld and Matt Brennan.
Yes. Yeah.
So, maybe some people can check out those videos on our Instagram and see what they'd be in for, but it's definitely a no-brainer that Matt Steele night's going to be a good night. He's playing with another fella, Alex McNeil, I'm not really that familiar with, but I'm sure I'll have something to say after I see that show on June 9th.
Perfect. And then we'll hear about that in our next episode.
Yes.
Something else I want to bring up. It is not June related. It just happens to be falling into the same month of June as Pride. And Howling Monkey Picks is a company I use for my guitar picks. They're long lasting. It's a nut that they're made from. It's called fake ivory in some places. But it gives it's a nice alternative to using plastics. It's a natural thing. The nuts just fall off the tree, so I support them because of those aspects. But one of the guitar picks is pink. And somebody made some blatant homophobic comments about the color pink and saying they shouldn't use pink picks. And I'm not going to get into exactly what they said, but it was not taken very lightly by the fans of the guitar picks.
Sure.
So, actually I got one here. If you're watching the video, that's the style. So, the owner decided, since this guy was so offended by the color pink being used in a guitar pick, he dyed all his guitar picks pink, and he's going to do a little promo soon. So if you watch them on Instagram, you might see that promo coming up. There's not going to be many available of the ones that are normally pink because it's a different shape and they're hard to come by. But be worth checking out. He's doing a whole a spite sale pretty well.
Just
because
that's
of
awesome.
this one pink pick prick. So
I would say
appreciate supporting a company that's going to have a sale just for spite, just to piss someone off that was offended by that. So.
That purchase would check a lot of boxes for you.
Yeah.
I could see. That's a no-brainer. You have to buy
I'm
that.
like, oh, you're dyeing them all? I'm going to buy the ones I don't use too.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
yeah, we were reached out to by Branton from JJ's gang. Branton Langley and Aaron Dollamont are both members of the band The Streetlights. They're from the west coast of Newfoundland, and they're doing a album called JJ's Gang, Miles to Go, and that's coming out June 25th. So in a couple weeks, you can find that online and buy it. And the song they asked us to play is Elise, and we'll be having that coming up here very shortly. And after we get back from the song, we'll be talking to Melina Coolen, and they reached out to us as well to have an interview. So we're feeling seen in a good way.
Yes, for sure. And be sure to check out our playlists, which have both of those artists. There's a variety of Melina Coolen stuff in there, and featured her original single from earlier in this year and her follow-up that she requested that we add to this episode. Both excellent songs.
Yeah.
And featured some of her guest vocalists. Put a couple of their solo songs on there as well. And one little note I wanted to squeeze in there too is friend of the podcast, Andre Petipa. Andre Petipa and the Giants, actually. Their song Overtime was #1 on the East Coast Countdown this week. So I want to send a little congratulations off to any of those guys that might be listening. And they just kicked off a little mini tour here from Stellarton at the Blue Lobster. They did a full band set in the back room.
Oh, perfect.
And they're doing a little fundraiser now to get some money together for them to do their tour. They're going to be taking off across the country.
Awesome.
So it's very exciting for them to have a #1 song at the same time that they're taking off on their tour. So good timing for the boys, and congratulations.
So for now, this is JJ's Gang. And welcome back. Like we said, we're here with Melina Coolen. How are you doing today?
Oh, good. Thank you. How are you?
Good. And thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm really excited.
We knew Melina's name originally when we started the podcast and started Instagram. I think you were one of our first followers, and we noticed that you were liking our stuff when there's only 10 people liking our stuff. So And now there's 11. So we're really getting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But we recognized that you were interacting. So it's good to get you on. And
Oh, thank you.
someone that knew who we were.
Yeah, I was listening to your last episode with Arsenis.
Yes.
And I didn't know. I was a little embarrassed that I didn't know that the D and A in your title actually stands for your names. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's actually a good segue for the one thing I had outside of our notes is when I did your Fairy Tales single, we had it on one of our companion playlists. And when I entered it, I kind of messed up the special guest that you had on for the vocalist.
Oh,
so
right.
I made an error in that episode and never acknowledged it until just now. I was waiting until you were here so I could do it right to your face.
Oh, okay.
I apologize for that. So there you go. Now we're even.
As his brother, he doesn't admit to mistakes very often, so take that. So we have that you're a Canadian musician, and we're in Canada. Are you from Nova Scotia, or did you move here, or what's your kind of story there?
I'm from Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
And I just went to Toronto for my master's, so I was away there for 2 years, and that's where I recorded my first EP.
Okay.
But I'm back here now.
In Halifax, or just
in Halifax?
In Halifax, yeah. That seems to be where everyone kind of goes for the music, right? So.
It's nice to be back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're working on your second EP, or your second EP is coming out. Are you done working on it, or is it?
Actually, it came out in February.
So it came out.
Yes.
That's where Fairy Tales came from, but that was out before the EP was released. Is that correct?
Right. I released it in November, sort of like a teaser. And
yeah, because I remember hearing it through like East Coast Countdown and stuff like that. It was getting some play.
Yeah, I was on there for a while. And I made it to the top 5 on the list.
And I think for 2022, it's probably one of the longest running ones too.
Oh, yeah. I checked this morning. I was surprised it's still on there in the
hanging out.
doc, so people can vote.
And that's one of the conversations that Andrew and I were just having there too with your new single from the album after the release. Are you promoting that now to radio stations, or are you waiting for Fairy Tales to die down a little bit?
Actually, I promoted them in February.
And, and it didn't chart yet, or you're?
I'm still sort of waiting. I guess.
Okay.
Just to see. I guess it was the first time I did radio, by myself. I kind of took that on, so I'm still sort of playing it by ear.
You figured you were doing enough already that you added that to your plate, eh?
Yeah.
Because we have a note there too that you're the songwriter and audio engineer. Do you do all your own, or do you have someone else help you out with that?
I did everything, but a lot of it was recorded during the pandemic. So I was also outsourcing, so artists were recording themselves, then sending it to me, and then I was editing and mixing.
Okay.
Is that mostly your guest vocalists like Sarah Frank and Jade Bennett?
Yes, but also my my drummer and one of my guitarists.
Okay, and who are those two?
My drummer is Jacob Sluice from Toronto. He was a U of T grad, very talented. He did Windows and I Believe in You and Me. And one of my guitarists was Luke Fraser, Sarah Frank's husband from the Bombadils.
Okay. So that's the connection there.
Yeah. And the guitarist on Fairy Tales again, Nick McClellan, he actually recorded here. So that was a lot easier than doing the whole back and forth thing online.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think it'd be difficult to collaborate with people remotely. I think in the room, you have the energy and you you get immediate feedback and everything. So recording remotely,
it took a long time. Instead of just nailing everything in a 3-hour session in the studio, it was it could take months just to get one person down because they had to do it when they had the time, and then I give notes and then they address it. It was a very long process.
Yeah, when you're live, you want to change this, and they give another run through, but. Instead, they're recording it, send it to you. You listen to it the next day. You send back feedback the next day. Then you're a week into it, and
yeah.
So that kind of answers one of my questions. I saw that you have a lot of collaborations on your songs, and where do you find these people? But it seems like You had a guitar player and his wife sang, so she sang with you? Is that kind of...
Um, well, actually, I started off, I featured Sarah first, and then she
Okay.
offered her husband to play on the song because I was looking for a guitarist.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Reverse.
yeah. And actually, it was kind of funny how I came across Sarah because I saw her on the East Coast Music Association directory, and I thought, oh, she has such a beautiful voice. She'd be lovely to feature, but I knew the bombadils are kind of big, so I was like, maybe I'll hold off on asking her. And I was hanging out with some friends virtually, and she just happened to hop on like she knew the other people. And
Oh,
yeah, so
Oh, perfect.
then I asked her, and she graciously offered to sing on my song, and
awesome.
it's very nice.
Oh, perfect.
But otherwise, yeah, just going through directories or word of mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
That's
just-
where a lot of our stuff started from. We started taking through the same directories.
Oh
And
yeah,
going like, oh, this person and this person. Then once you start talking to people, everyone knows each other. And
yeah.
yeah.
And CBC used to have a wonderful directory. I used it for my first album, but yeah, now I just use like Music Nova Scotia and East Coast Music Association.
Yes.
Yes. And so with your first EP, you said you were in Toronto at the time,
Yes.
and that was featured on CBC. We had a brief conversation there. The song "Gone."
Yes, one of my songs, Gone, I released earlier, sort of like temporary single with a different vocalist. It was like a quick thing I did. I've just sort of like
Mhm.
entered the contest, and that made it to regional finals. And but then I decided to re-record it, just because I wanted to produce it better.
Mhm.
Have more instruments and stuff.
Did you do your own vocals the second time around, or did you?
No, actually, I got a singer in Toronto, but she works as a film producer, so
Oh,
she
Okay.
just happens to be a really great singer too.
Oh, wow.
okay.
Yeah.
And on your follow-up EP for Windows, I had already mentioned the two guest vocalists you have on there, but the rest of the album, that's you singing on there?
For the second one, sorry?
Yeah, for Windows. Is that you singing the rest of the
No,
songs
no.
outside, or
Well, I have Sarah Frank, and then I have Jade Bennett.
it'd be so they sing all of the songs between the two of them?
Yes, I do contribute backing vocals,
Okay.
as well as Ezra Fitch from
Okay.
Good Dear Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're
Her
aware of
name
that.
gets brought up every episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
very talented.
I did notice there was a second set of vocals doing the backup.
yeah.
So I was going to ask you if that was you or not, but Darcy beat me to it. So.
She did
Yeah.
Imaginary Conversation backing vocals and Fairy Tales Again, and I also added a little on Fairy Tales Again and I Believe in You and Me.
Okay. And speaking of people in film, you also did background music for some productions on
did.
Canadian television.
Yeah. My first one was a documentary about the Blue Nose. I did some sonic link effects, and that was actually funny how that started because like almost anyone going into music, I was having one of those moments like, what am I doing with my life? Can I make it?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I took a break. I was going for a walk, and then a car stopped, and they were like, oh, I know you like from I knew them from like the community, and they were like, oh, can you do this for my documentary kind of thing?
Oh.
So it just kind of took off from there.
So we should just start walking down the streets of Halifax. Maybe we'll get some business.
Yeah.
Well, that might not sound good either.
No.
Wrong kind of business.
Actually, this was in the South Shore. Like I'm originally from the Chester Hubbard's area.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, that was
so-
cool.
And then you did another Borderline you worked on as well. Was that you?
Yes. That was some Ryerson grads. That was their project for their degree,
Oh, okay.
and I did some longer musical stretches for that.
Okay.
It was a
Cool.
lot of fun.
I think it'd be
Have you
interesting.
done
Kind
any
of.
film work since then?
I haven't, but I'd like to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If anyone out there is looking, she's here. She's available.
Well, right now you're in the right place for it because Nova Scotia's just invested. It's like billions of dollars, isn't it? It's like building
it's
a big
very good time.
in a big sound stage in Halifax. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's
So-
a very good
opportunities
time.
coming.
Yeah.
Do you find working on film change the way you write your music, or did it just kind of something totally different for you?
What I did was sort of like short sort of melodies, I guess. So it didn't really change how I write songs. I guess like I was a songwriter before I was doing film.
Okay.
So I guess I approached writing for film sort of as a songwriter, I guess more melodic.
Yeah. That
And
makes sense.
the lyrics, you're writing the lyrics yourself as you're writing the music and then matching up with the vocalist? Or does the vocalist contribute lyrics to the song?
No, I write all my lyrics.
Yeah, I thought you did.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like I always appreciated poetry and just how the lyrics can stand alone. And so I usually I guess sometimes I write the lyrics first and then the songs, but I guess usually I write the melodies and then write the lyrics too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You kind of get the flow of what
Yeah.
you're going for, and then you know where to throw your rhymes and hooks and everything. So
Yeah.
And then with the lyrics, the EP Windows kind of goes from a dark mood to a light mood with the
Yes.
lyrics. That was intended, I assume.
Yes, I wanted to leave the listener on a happy note, like if they're going through a tough time, then they can just to reassure them that there's fairy tales can happen again.
Yeah.
Because the EP ends on fairy tales again.
Okay, perfect.
But originally, I wrote all the songs at different times, but they were just songs I really wanted to release. I was like trying to tie them all together. So that order just made sense too.
Yeah.
And are they chronological then? Like, is that actually showing a
No.
reflection of mood or anything? Or
You were just
No.
climbing up your own hill in life and just, yeah.
Actually, fairy tales again, I wrote first.
Oh, okay.
And I Believe in You and Me was the last one I wrote.
Oh, okay. And that makes sense for your release schedule too, that you'd be
Yes.
promoting the first one first and then the freshest one as your follow-up.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that, but that's
Yeah.
true.
That was
Yeah,
a coincidence, apparently. Yeah.
I Believe in You and Me was sort of like my pandemic song, but I didn't want to date it. I wanted it to still be relevant. So I made it so it can stand alone as like a love song, but also like a song to a global you.
That makes sense.
So is there any live element to this? Or because you've already mentioned at least 3 people in your backup are other occupied with other bands and that kind of thing, which most of our guests that seems to be a pattern. Everyone that's on this show is playing with somebody that was on the previous show, or it's really funny. But yeah, so are you planning on doing live performances? Is that in the cards?
I'm thinking about it. I guess coming from sort of like the audio engineer producer sort of standpoint, I'm just sort of used to doing all the effects and everything behind the scenes. But I think it'd be fun to maybe do some performances with them, maybe some stripped down ones with the singers. And
Well, your stripped down video on YouTube, that
yes.
was great.
Oh, thank you.
I listened to it and it was missing like the brass and stuff, but it sounded perfectly fine. So I think you could pull it off, just you and a piano and a singer.
And that was Jade on that one, correct?
Yes.
So
and I gotta tip my hat off to her just because that was the hardest song to sing and she just nailed it.
And she also has her own solo career as well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So you got a little super group there behind you already. It should be pretty easy to promote a live show anyway.
And I assume that was the same kind of process. You recorded the piano part, sent it to her, and she sang over it, and then sent it back on.
Yeah.
And I like the way you did the intro and the outro on the video.
Oh,
with your piano accompanying you. It just I haven't seen anyone really do that, and it just worked. It worked good. I liked it. So
I was thinking, what am I going to do with all this space? Like, it just can't be me playing piano. Like I thought that might get boring, so I just introduced the song.
You became your own radio DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Andrew has a new appreciation for all the effort that goes in behind and
Oh.
the thought for that since we've been doing this together, because he's we fly through these and then there's a lot of editing to do afterwards to get the video to look right. So
yeah, imagine I usually take the audio separate and match it all up later, and it's
that makes sense.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And then
I also work in post, so I know.
Oh
yeah. Work on post with a crappy cheap laptop. That's what I do. Yeah. So with this EP done, are you working on new music now? Do you have anything in the works? Are you on a low right now, or what's going on in your creative life?
I have some ideas. I have ideas for my next 2 EPs. One of them I'd like to do like a really sort of jazz, sort of big band sort of feel.
Okay.
Because like I'm a big lover of big bands. And
you must know a lot of people that are already in the music scene, like the same as I was saying, everyone's sharing bandmates. It seems to me like there's a good chunk of those have a jazz background as far as training. So you must have a lot of people to pick from already. Like if you
actually a lot of my Toronto scene people, like Russell Matthews, he was my saxophonist, and he actually recorded himself as well. I forgot to mention, but he's so good. And also my one of my drummers came in Vieira, and my bassist Peter Bull. It's funny because like when I was in Toronto, I recorded Peter, but when I came back eventually to Halifax, and he just came back last year too. So it's like we keep going back and forth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But yeah, they're very great in the music scene. Also, Jacob Sluice, he's very big in the jazz scene as well.
Oh, there you go. You got plenty of options.
Yes.
And we noticed Darcy and I were both listening to the new EP, and we both kind of felt a Carpenter's feel off it there.
Oh.
So you mentioned you have your jazz influence, but what other influence do you have that helped shape you as a musician?
Oh, that's cool that you could hear the Carpenters.
Yeah.
I like their music, and I guess the Monkees sort of indirectly introduced me to like the Brill Building era, like Carole King and
James Taylor, maybe.
Maybe not so much, but like I guess like Neil Diamond or I came across Burt Bacharach like through Ray Conniff, Perry Como, Andy Williams. A lot of those retro fairy tales again. I was funny because like there was this wonderful sort of brass instrumental snippet in the old remake of The Parent Trap that stuck with me, and it came back to me when I was composing fairy tales again, and I finally found out what it was. It was Young and Holt's Soulful Strut.
Oh, okay.
But all that time, like I didn't know what it was. It just sort of stayed with me until like I needed it, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love a lot of the old soul music.
Yeah, and we could hear that. You have the older, I don't know if you call it folk that we hear, but yeah, that style, just pure music.
That vibe, and you don't hear it in everything now. Like a lot of the folk is going, like you got alt folk and you've got more country style stuff, but we're not hearing a lot of. It's like something that existed a few decades ago, and you don't really hear it as much now. So it does stick out, and that's probably why you're getting such a long play out of fairy tales in the countdown.
Probably. I think there's
not
sort of
something similar to replace it with right now.
Yeah, and that's also really cool because I feel like it might be a little bit of a niche sort of genre right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stumbled into something here.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it all, everything old, make it new again.
Yeah, that's my goal. I'd love to bring back the old style music.
Yeah.
I also really like Bob James. He did the music for Taxi.
Okay.
The old show. So I really like carry that sort of vibe and like Imaginary Conversations or Gone.
And so you like working with other vocalists, and you've done the background work on some film production and everything. In the future, would you like to be writing songs for other artists as well?
Oh yeah, I
Because a
love
lot of the
that.
people that you mentioned as inspiration, I know of them because, well, they're classic artists that everybody knows, but they've written a lot of songs for other very popular artists as well. Some of the artists that they've written songs for are more popular than the names you even listed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that something that you aspire to do at some point in your future as well?
Yeah, actually that's like my big dream. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I'd love to just make it as a songwriter. Like I love writing songs.
Well, so you're
Mm.
looking for some collaborations for sure then.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I guess growing up too, like I always was really influenced by Disney soundtracks. So I think it
Oh
would
yeah.
really be cool to write songs for films like that. Like not just the score, but the actual songs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're always hits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they always get radio, like, and everyone knows them in the world.
Yeah.
So like it's definitely it's a big goal, but there's lots of room there too, right?
Yeah. I guess like starting out, I thought like I need to just get songs out there. But now that
Mm-hmm.
I have like a couple EPs, I really want to look into like co-writing and stuff.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I imagine all the radio player you're getting now is going to help you find
Yeah,
that because people will be
hopefully.
familiar with your name.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So where can people find you online? Where can we find your presence online?
You can find me on Spotify and Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon Music, and YouTube. And I think that's everything.
And you're welcome to come back once you get your new EP out, or once Disney hires you. We can talk about that a little bit. And,
Yes.
Thank you.
and if you guys want to find us, you can go to Linktree, find East Coast DNA on Linktree, and find all our links there. There's a link to join us on the Discord. No one really is, so we're going to discuss off the mic what's going to happen in the Discord.
Have a production meeting now that you're healthier again, and
I'm healthier-ish. But yeah, so find our information there. It's down in the show notes. For now, we are going to listen to I Believe in You and Me featuring Sarah Frank, and we'll talk to you in a couple weeks.